I think someone can just confirm that you guys were able to see my screen. Good. So, as I've said that today we are going to learn about stored procedures in SQL. And then finally, we are going to check something to do with the subqueries. We see how they are used and why they are used in databases. And stored procedures, um, this is just a great concept in databases because it will help you to group a number of SQL statements and you call them or you invoke them whenever they are needed. So maybe with different inputs. So we say that an SQL stored procedure is a group of pre-compiled SQL statement, or we can say that it is a prepared SQL code that can be reused by simply calling it whenever you need it. So meaning that you can group a number of SQL statements. You group them into a procedure, and then anytime you want to run them, you just run the or call the procedure. So we are saying that these procedures they can be used to perform a range of database operations such as inserting, we have updating, uh, or deleting data. Also, they are very useful when generating reports because like you're not like going to repeat what you had already done. You just have to call a group of you're going to call the procedure which holds a group of pre-compiled SQL statements, and then you're just going to get the output. Also, they used to perform complex calculations. Uh, so we say that stored procedures are very useful because they allow you to encapsulate or bundle together SQL statement in a single unit. So we are going to check how they are created, uh, and you guys, by now we start anytime we are learning new concept, we always start with its syntax. So we are going to see the syntax of creating a procedure. Yes, so let's check the syntax for creating a procedure. And we always start with the delimiter. I think you can remember why we use delimiter. Of course, again in this case we are going to have a number of we are going to have a number of we are going to have a number of statements again within a single yeah within a single what within a single procedure, and that is why we are starting with the delimiter. Like let's use the ones that you are familiar with. Excuse me, just a minute. Okay, I think I was talking about how we create these procedures. So we always start with the create keyword. So we create procedure and then procedure name. So and then in the procedure we are going to pass a number of you're going to pass a number of parameters. So parameters we can say that parameters are, this is the data maybe that you want to pass into procedure, maybe for processing. So let's say maybe you want to pass maybe a parameter that is called an int, maybe we can talk of int total. That is an example of a parameter. And we always start with the syntax again for passing in parameters is you start with the data type and then the parameter name. So that is why you can see here we have the parameter one, its data type, parameter two, and its data type. So and then now after passing in the parameters, then we begin. This is where you start. You begin your procedure. So a procedure can be a one line statement. Maybe you want to select some data based on a certain condition. So between the begin and end, this is where we pass all the statements that we want to be executed. That is in a procedure. So and then again we end with a delimiter. I was to edit this to dollar signs. I think by now you know we use these dollar signs. So I think that is all about the syntax for creating a procedure. So let's get into creating an example of a procedure, and we have an example here. And for us to create this procedure, then it means that we must have of course a table that we want to query, and you know that the tables are within a database. So again, today we are going to we can create a table called customers within our database. I think I'll just open my workbench here. Let me connect. Let me connect to my workbench. You know why it is taking so much time to connect. Let's give it time. So we are going to create a table that is called customers. And see, I have an error here. Good. I think that it's okay. So within the bounty underscore company, we can create a table here. Let's create a table called let's use this bounty underscore company. Let's execute that. And then inside here is where we are going to create this table. How is it? We are creating a table that is called customers. I don't want to type, I just want to copy these and let me just copy paste these here. So let's create a table called customers with these fields. That is the ID, the name. We want the age of the customers. You can just call it customer. And then we have salary, and then we have the ID. We have an ID. ID in this case is a primary key. I think you can. Let's remove these and pass it here. You can say primary key to avoid repetition. So I think that is it. We can execute this to create the table. And that should run successfully. So we already have now the table. If you were to refresh these, I think we should be able to get the table name customers. And you can see we have a table. We have a table called customer. It's always good to indicate what you are doing. So in this, we are creating table called dot customer. So after this, let's do let's insert data into the table, customer. And in this case, I think we have data here. So we are going to insert about seven rows. So let me just copy these. Oops. I think by now you know how to insert data. So we are inserting into customer, and we are inserting values. But I can see we have a problem here. Let me check this. But it is not varied at the position expecting. Let me see what could be the problem here. Let me change this. I think now we should be able to insert these. So let's run these very fast. Just to confirm if we have the data, let's do a select statement here. Select all from customer. Let's see if we have the data. Perfect. I think we have the data already. So the next thing now is to create a procedure. So, and the procedure that you are going to create here, we are going to create a stored procedure with name get customer info. Then we provide it with a single input parameter that is customer age. Then the stored procedure then selects all the records from the customer table where the value of the customer age matches the input parameter. So this is the sample of that procedure. So we create a procedure called get customer info, and then we are creating this in customer age, and the data type it's of int type. Then we begin. We are going to select select all from customer where age is equals to the customer age. So when you are calling this procedure, it will select all the customers with age equal the number we are going to pass here. So let's see if you can just copy this and try to modify it to save on time. So let's say that we are creating a procedure, and you can say called get customer info. So I think you can just paste this here and try to do some modification. I'll change that to $sign. So this is where our procedure starts. That is delimiter, create a procedure, get customer info in the customer age int, and then first we don't want to call the procedure. So I think then we can add these $signs. Oops. We can add those $signs. So let's create these. We create this by executing this. So we can just execute this and see what happens. Hoping it will execute. Oops. Let's check this. As it executed, really, we have delimiter, create procedure. I'm trying to run this. Let me just try to refresh this to check if the procedure is created. You should be able to see it here where we have stored procedure. And I don't know why it is not executing. Oh, it's because we have some backward slash there. Let me try to execute again. That could be the issue. It's not giving any error message. Let me see this. I want to execute this. I think it has executed. Create procedure, customer these. Let's try and refresh this and see if we have the stored procedure here. Yeah, I think now we have the stored procedure. It's already created. So after creating the procedure now, for it now to work, you have to call it or do something we call invoking. So let me just say for the procedure to work, we must invoke invoke it with the right with the right arguments. So maybe when we are doing programming, you are going to understand the difference between the parameters and the arguments. In fact, parameters we pass them when we are creating maybe a function, and when we are calling that function, we pass in now the actual values, which are called the arguments. Also in the procedure. So when we are creating procedure, we pass in parameters, and when we are calling that procedure, we pass in the argument. I think I showed you how you can call that, and we say call and then the procedure name, and then we pass in the data. So if we want to execute now this procedure, we have to call it. So let's call it. We just use the keyword call and then procedure name. So in this case, the procedure name is get. It's get customer info, and you notice that we just passed one argument here. That is the customer age, and I think you can just check. Let's execute this to check, or we can just retrieve these. Let's see if we can use age 25. So you just have to pass the age 25. So call these, and let's execute now, and then we see what we are going to get. I think I forgot to add a semicolon. Oops, and it seems we have a problem here. So we are told that the table bounty customer doesn't exist. Let me see. I think we have that customer. Oh yeah, we changed these. We are selecting from customer, not customers. I think that is where the problem is. So we can delete that and try to execute these once again. First, we can just let's delete this. Let's drop it, and then we execute this now. And then when we try to call it, we should get some output here. So you notice that we are getting the records for people with age 25 just by calling out the procedure. So meaning that our procedure has functioned. It's functioning well, because in the procedure we said that we just want to select all from customer where age is equals to the age that is passed in the procedure. So in this case we passed 25. Let's just try to. I think you can just pass, maybe let's pass 22. I think there is a record with the age of 22. So now you notice that anytime you want to check some records, you don't have like to repeat now this code. And you can call this procedure as many times as you want. So let's call it again with a different age. You can call it again with another different age. Let's say maybe 23. I don't know if there are records with 23, age 23. So when you try to execute these, so you notice that we are getting Walter is having age 23. So we can check the result 5, where we have Kings and Eric. They have age 25. And in table 4, we have Komal. with age 22. So meaning that procedures will help you to reuse that code as many times as you want. I don't know if there is any question concerning the procedure, how we implement procedure. Do you have any question? Mombi, do you have any question? Mombi, I think Mombi is saying is okay. Is there any question?
Nope.
Okay. What about Rodovan? Good. I think that is it. So you are not limited to you're not limited like to add just one line of a statement here. You can add you can add any you can add any query, provided that it will solve your issue in in the procedure. So I think having said that, we can check the stored type procedure parameter types, and we see how also they are used. So, and the first parameter, we call it the input parameters. And these parameters are used to pass values from the calling statement to the stored procedure. I think we have just implemented one whereby we just have to pass some parameters when calling a stored procedure. There is also an output parameters, and these parameters are used to return values from stored procedure. So meaning that your procedure must be returning a certain value. And then we have the parameters that can work as input or output. So it's kind of we have now two in one parameter. Now in this case we have parameters allowing stored procedure to accept and also can return an output value. So these are the three types of parameters, and I would like to check them in details. So let's see the procedure within parameter. I think you have already seen this in action, because if you were to check our procedure here, we start with get customer info in what in this parameter here. So this is the example of the in parameter. So I think we have already seen that, and we are saying that in is the default parameter of the procedure that will receive input values, and we are saying that we can pass the values as arguments when the stored procedure is being called. I think you have already seen that. And so even we have an example. We have implemented this. So let's check the procedure without out parameter. And we say that the out parameter is used to return the output value from the procedure. Something that you can note is that when using out parameters, we have to specify the keyword out before the parameter name when passing it to the stored procedure. And we are seeing that this tells the SQL database that the parameters is an output parameter and shall be assigned with a value in the stored procedure. So let's see how we can implement this. I think we have an example here whereby we are trying to get the count we are counting age into total from the customers, and we are counting these where age is these. So we are saying that we are creating a stored procedure that is used to count the number of records of customers having the same age and assign these to total. So this is the procedure that we are going to create. And it's quite simple because again, you're going to use the create procedure, get details, and then out total int. And then we begin our procedure, we begin our statement here. Select count, that is age, into total from customers. I think you can just copy this and see how it will work. Let me just copy this. I think you can say with the in parameters, and then now this one will be this is procedure without parameters. I think you can let me put this in caps, add parameters, then maybe we can paste what we have here. So let's create this, create procedure, get details, out total, and then we want to count the number of customers with we should be keen because we are using the customer table here, and then we can I think we can execute this and see if it runs, and we can see that it has executed successfully. Then we can try to refresh this just to make sure that we have another procedure created here. And you can see we have now two procedures, that is the get customer info and get details. So let's call this procedure calling the get, that is the get detail procedure. So and we said that we use the keyword call and then the name of the procedure. So I think we can call it with a certain value here. Let's use 25 semicolon. Then we can execute this. Oops, we are getting an error here. What is it saying? So you notice here we are supposed to use, because now we are getting, I think there is something that I mentioned. So we are supposed now to get the output from to get an output from this, and the output that we are getting is the total here. So how we are going now to pass. This is how we pass at total now. This is how we pass the argument. So it's called get details at total. So this should return a value. This should return a value. This should give us a value. Let me see this. It should get a value. So call the detail at total. And let's see this. Let me counter check this. Let me use as Can we really use as no. I think you should get a value from this. Let's try to use 22. You should be getting a value here. Let me just try to delete these. And work with 22. Yes, let's work with value 22. Let me execute this once more. Then let's try to execute this. I think it has executed. I think to get the output here, we should select at total. Let me check this. And, no, this is where we can use as. Let's say total count. To execute this again. Yes, I think this is how you can use it. I think I was forgetting about the select. You select your argument here, that is at total, to get now the value. So let's delete these and try it out with 25. Let me see this. Let me drop this again, and I will try with a different value. That is 25. Let me try to execute this again. Create. Okay, starting from here up to this point. And I think it has created. So let's we call our procedure. You notice that it has executed successfully. Then now we have to select the total value here. And we are selecting it, we are collecting it as total count. So meaning you can change the name of this temporarily. So let's do that, and we can see that we have two records with a total count of 25, or records with age 25. We have two of them, and I think you can confirm this by that is from select from customer, just to make sure that you are getting the correct output. So let's do that. So we have two records here that have 25. We have Kings and we have Eric. So we have two records, and that is what you are getting from these. So that is it about the out parameters in procedures. So any question on that? And again, you are not limited just to put one statement here. I'm just using one statement for simplicity. So I think that is it with out parameters. And then we can get to the last part where now I want us to check the procedure with in out parameters. So with this one, it's a combination of in to mean it can take parameters in and out. So it's a combination of those. And we are saying that you can pass data into the stored procedure and receive data from a stored procedure using the same parameter. So let's have an example here. And we are saying in the query below, we provide two in out parameters to the stored procedure. And the first parameter will be the cast ID or the customer ID. And then the current salary. So these two are both used as they are used both as input and output parameters. So let's see that example. And we have it here, whereby we have create procedure, increase salary. And then we have in, out. So it's the customer ID of type int, and we want it to give us an output of the current salary that is there after increase. And again, that one will be of data type int. So meaning we are going to pass in the customer ID. We are going to pass in the customer ID, and then uh, we are going to check we are going to calculate the we are going to calculate the salary increase by maybe doing some maths inside inside this procedure. So and we have it here. So we are beginning with select salary, and we are selecting salary into the current salary from customers, where ID is the ID that you are going to pass here, and then we set now the current salary to the current salary. We are going to set it to the current salary multiplied by a certain percentage. In this case, I think they are trying to increase this by 10%. And then after setting it, after calculating after increasing the salary, then we update the customers table. We set the salary to equal to the current salary or the increased salary, where ID is the ID that you are going to pass. So I think you can just copy these very fast and see it in action. So in here we can have the in out parameters, parameters in procedure. So let's put that comment, and then we paste this here. But we need to do some things here, because in our procedure or in our table, the table that we are using here is called customer. So I think you can change that. And then what else should we change? I think also you should change this. What else should we change? Let me see what we should change. Yeah, something is missing here. That is the delimiter. Delimiter should be delimiter. Oops. I think the delimiter was missing. So let's counter check these. The procedure name is increase salary, and then we have in out customer ID, which is of type int. We have in out again current salary. Then we begin. So first is to select the salary into the current salary. And then we have, after we have selected current, we have selected salary into the current salary from a customer, then and we are specifying that is why ID is equals to this. And then we said, good, I think we should execute this. And we can see that it has executed successfully. So now we should have three procedures now, increase salary. So let's see how now we can execute this. Let's call in these, call in the procedure. So let's see how we can call these. And in fact, we are going to pass a number of values here. So first, we are going to set the customer ID to a certain ID. Then we set a salary to a certain value, and then we are going to call the increase salary with the values that we are going to pass in here. So then we can select salary as updated salary. So I think we can just copy this very fast and paste it here. So first thing is to set the customer ID. And I want to set this to 1. And then the second thing, salary. I think you can just set it to some value here. That is 0.00, and then we can just call it. Let's just try to execute this. And then we try to select what? Select at salary. And we can say this as updated underscore salary. And now you notice that we are getting our updated salary as that is 2200. If you were to check the initial salary for the customer ID number 1, I think you can do a select all from customers. It should be customer, not customers. So ID number 1 here, we have who? This is John, and John has a salary of that is 2200. So meaning that we have a problem with our if we were to execute these, we can't have the increased salary is 20, the updated salary is 22, and the initial salary was again 2200. So meaning that we have a problem with how we have a problem in our procedure. So let's check what could be the problem here. I think we have a problem here. Let's check. I think you have a problem here. Let me salary. We are setting it to the current salary. I think there is an issue here. So someone to calculate an increase of this by one by 1.1. What is 1.1? You multiply by this. I think someone can give me the answer. Take 1.1, you multiply by 2200. Someone to write me the answer. You can just unmute your mic and tell us. I think someone should. What is the answer? Kezia? You take 1.1, you multiply by this salary, that is 2200. You multiply by the 1.1. What are you getting? Someone is saying 24. That is 24. Let me see that again. Yeah, I think someone wrote me. That is 2420. So meaning that we have a problem in this procedure. Let's try to debug that. So select salary into this. Let's see how we are calling these. Set. I think this should be. I think this one is okay. Customer ID, salary. Let me just try to change this. Okay, let me try to rerun this. Yes, I think now we got the correct answer. After updating this, I think I had passed the wrong ID here, because in our the parameters that we were passing here is the cast underscore ID, and I was passing something to do with the customer. I think the customer ID instead of the cast ID. So this one to mean is the salary for the person in ID1. I think we can just try that with a different a different customer. And again, we just have to repeat this. So let's execute that and check if you are going to get the correct answer. So let's execute this. And the customer number ID3 is Walter, and Walter has a salary of 2,000. So you can also multiply the 2,000, you multiply by 1.1 and see if you are going to get these result. Okay, so someone confirm for us. We have customer ID number 3, Walter, having salary of 2,000. You multiply by 1.1. I think someone can confirm that. Someone is saying 22. Is it 2,200? And where are we getting these? Let me just try to check these again. Select. I think it's just trying to is trying to do what to increase the salary for ID number 1, and I think I've passed a different ID. So let's try to run this again. Just to make sure that this procedure is working, it's working well, and it seems it's working on ID number 1. What could be the issue? It's still working on ID number 1. I think we have a problem here. Let me just try to check this one out. I'm wondering what could be the issue. I think someone is somewhere wrong. I think I should check that. I'll check that. Maybe I'll update you in the group because I think it should accept different IDs. I think it should be cast ID. Let's see this. Yes, I think I'll check out these. There must be an issue somewhere because it should be updating the ID you put here. So I think I'll have to check on that. So I think that's all about the procedures. I'll try to debug the last one, that is the in out, and I'll give you the reason why it is behaving in that manner. So, any question on procedures? I think that's all about procedure. And if there is no any question, I think we should get into subqueries. Uh, I think with the subqueries, I don't have much. So we are going just to check how subqueries are created and where they are used. And then, in fact, I have assignment on this because I'll just check the select and insert, and then you guys uh, you're going to check the update and delete because I believe that they are quite similar in how they are implemented. So we are saying that subquery we are saying that a subquery uh, is a select query within another query. So meaning that you can have a query, an SQL query within a query. We call them inner query or nested queries. So let's see how you can create a nested query or what we call inner query in SQL. And we are saying that the outer query can contain select, insert, update, and delete statements. And also we are saying that we can use subquery as a column expression, as a condition in SQL clauses, and with operators like uh, these assignment operators. That is the is equals, greater than, less than. Then we have in and between. But before we get to how we implement subqueries, there are some rules that I would like us to go through so that you can be guided on how to create those subqueries. And we are saying that the subquery must be enclosed within a parenthesis. We are going to see that. The second rule is that subqueries can be nested within another subquery. So meaning that we can have a subquery within a subquery. Then we are saying that a subquery must contain the select query and the from clause always. So meaning anytime you try to write a subquery and you realize that you don't have a select clause or from clause. So meaning that you might get you will definitely get an error. So I think that is it. And also we are saying that a subquery consists of all the clauses. Uh, an ordinary select clause can contain a group by, whereby having distinct top stroke limit, etc. Uh, However, we are saying that order by clause is only used when top clause is specified. So these are some of the things that you should note, that order by clause is only used when a top clause is specified. So I think that is a rule on its own. And we have the last rule that we say that a subquery can return a single value, a single row, a single column, or a whole table. This is to mean that the subqueries are called scalar subquery. These are called the subqueries. Of course, we have other types of subqueries. I think you're going to do research on the other types of subqueries. Because if we have scalar subqueries, of course, you notice that we are going to have other queries that will return a multiple outputs rather than returning a single row, a single column, or a whole table. So this is the most reused subquery. That is the scalar subqueries. Um, so I think having gone through the rules, I would like us to see how they are implemented, and by now you should know that we always start with the syntax for any concept. So and with this, I think you're going to check the first subquery with a select statement. That is where we have a select. So of course you are selecting from a certain column, and then from you will get you are selecting from which table, and then you can maybe have a condition that is you're saying that where column name, and then we have the where now we have the subquery. So you notice that in this case we have these. Let me just try to highlight these. We have these subquery inside parentheses. So this is where you pass in your subquery, and you can see that in this case we have select column name. Of course, you can have a number of column names, and then that is from the table. You can select from either table 1 or table 2, and then where a certain condition is met. So let's get into a real example for this. And we have a very simple select statement here, where we are trying to select all from customers where ID in. So meaning that it's where ID in. Now there's the select subquery, the select subquery. So meaning that you are going to select all the customers who will meet these who will meet this subquery here. And our subquery states that select ID from customers where salary is greater than 4,500. So meaning that we are going to return all the customers uh, where we have salary greater than 4,500. So I think we can try to execute these from our table and see what will happen. So I think I can just copy this very fast. Let me just copy this and try to execute it here. So let me say that we have subqueries. And in this case, we have. Let me just copy these. Let me comment out this. You can always highlight these and press Control. That is the backslash. So that is a subqueries with a select statement. So in this case, we want to select from customers, and our table is we change this one to customers, and this is where ID in this. I think you can try to execute this and see what we get here. So you notice that we are getting the records of all the people all the people with all the people with salary that is greater than 4500. This is the simplest form of a subquery. That is the select subquery. This one is the most or it is the simplest subquery. So maybe we can have maybe we can say that we select from the customer where maybe age. Maybe we can change this one to age. Let's have a different query here, a different subquery here. We want to select from this is from the customer, and we want to select from customer where maybe age in. Let's select. You can have a select age from customer. This is maybe where age is less than something like let's say less than 25. So we can have a semicolon here, and then we try to execute this. And now you notice that we are getting all the records where age is less than where age is less than where age is less than what where age is less than 20 25. So if you are keen enough, you notice that if maybe you were to execute this subquery, uh, let's execute this query independently, and we have select age from these. Maybe we should do away with. Let's have a semicolon here, and try to execute this. So the inner or what we are calling the nested subquery will just return the ages where age is less than where age is less than where age is less than 25. But for the outer now query, I will do the rest of the work, meaning that it will just like correct all the records that satisfy these the condition that is stated by the inner by the inner subquery. So meaning this is where now we are getting selecting from all the customers where this condition is met. And you notice that we are specifying that it is this condition age where age is less than 25. So meaning that uh, that is the now that is the use of a subquery. A subquery will just just return a single column, and I think you have already said that in the rules that let me let me just get back to where we had a subquery can return a single value, a single row, and in this case we are seeing that a single column or a whole table. But in this case, I think we can all see that this subquery is returning a single column. But now with the outer part of the outer part of the query now will return the other data that you are getting. So I think that's all about the select. We call the sub select with a select statement. I would like also to check a subquery with an insert statement, and then you guys are going to check delete and update statements in subqueries. So again, as we check the syntax, I think the syntax is just quite similar to that of select. I think we can just go direct to we can go direct to the example here, whereby we have we are going to create in this case we are going to create another table. Maybe we can call it backup. We can call it customers backup. And now we are going to copy. I think yesterday also we learned how you can copy. Is it yesterday? I think yesterday we learned how you can copy data from one table to another. So in this case, we are also going to have that. We are going to implement that using the subquery. And this one is just quite simple because we are going to have first we are going to create the customer backup, and then we are going to specify our field's name or the column names. And then from there, we are going to insert into customers backup. And then we are going to select all from customers. In our case, it will be customer, where ID in, and then we select the ID from the customer. So let's do that very fast. First, I think I can just copy these and create this table. Let me just create, but before we create, let's say that we are creating a backup table for customers, for the customer. So I think you can just paste these very fast. And you can change this one to customer backup. And then let me just try to do some changes here. You can see that this is a primary key. The primary key. Maybe this one should work. Let's remove that. Should be nar. I think we have a problem somewhere. Let me just remove these. Yes, that all should work. Let's create this table. And if you were to refresh these, we should get the customer backup table. So after now creating this table, let's try to copy the data from our customer table to the backup table using subquery. Copying data from that is the customer table to customer underscore backup. In this case, we're using subqueries. Let's do that very fast. It's very simple. I think we can maybe start by executing these the inner query, and we see what will happen. So let's execute this, and I notice that we are returning all the IDs in the customer table. So the data within this the data with all the data within these IDs is what is the data that you are going to copy to this the customer backup. So let's execute this and see what will happen. I think before even executing these, we can make sure that we don't have any data. Oops. We can make sure that we don't have data in this backup table. So let's just try to execute these. You can try to select all from this backup table, just to make sure that we don't have any data. And you can see that in the customer backup data we don't have any data. But now after we execute these, we should be able to get some data copied. So let's execute these once more. And now you notice that we have all the data now copied to this customer backup table. So any question? Do you have any question on how you can implement how you can implement subqueries? That is on the insert and select statements. Any question? I think these are just they are simple concepts. They just need practice. Anything that you have been learning, you should practice, or else you'll forget everything. So you should keep creating databases, trying to query those databases, and try to use these concepts so that at least they can be part of your skill. By the way, so yeah, I think that is it with subqueries. And I have an assignment here. I think this is something that you can check after this. This is something that you will check after this. So assignment will now be to check both update and delete. You can check these two subqueries, how they are used, or how they are implemented. So I'll share with you this file, so that now you can check the update and delete. So this is for your own good again. I'll not mark these. Yeah, so that is it. Any question? I think that's all for today.